Dignitas versus Liquid. Lince versus Egor. Can the Russian get it done for Liquid and be the hero once again for the boys in blue with everything on the line?
So here we go. Lince at bottom of your screen gives a good luck. Igor at the top, silent, ready to go.
That sounds about right for Egor.
It really does.
A man of few words except Mortar God.
Mortar God, and then a little smile.
Oh boy. Egor with archers to open up.
And a knight. Interesting, interesting, interesting.
First 40 seconds away. Both players going a little bit faster with their cycle. No big surprises here, at least on Egor's side.
And Egor just leaking right now, trying to see what his opponent's going to do.
First minute away, and no one's really made a strong attempt at creating any significant offense. We'll see if Egor chooses to protect this Inferno Dragon and turn it into anything. Over at 8 elixir now.
Yeah, I mean, that Brawler's going to demand something out of it. The Inferno Dragon's still going to be very healthy, and it shouldn't cross the river for this Barbarian. So maybe going to need a little bit more is Lince here, and there's the Graveyard coming down.
Tanking for the Graveyard is the Inferno Dragon. Poison will go on the Musketeer. Not a ton of damage out of that, but a slight elixir lead by about a half an elixir right now for the Team Liquid 1v1 player.
Yeah, and he takes out the Musketeer, gets damage on the tower. Cycle is back around. He's got his cheap cards back in his hand, and his defensive card back in his hand. So really, really nicely played there by Egor. And Lince maybe trying to fix his cycle just a little bit right now.
Egor clearly known as one of the top ladder players in the game. 5-time #1 on ladder, 25 top 10 finishes, and of course, 1 global tournament championship as well. #1 in the second ever global tournament. Not to mention, I believe, this could be wrong, but I believe the first player to ever hit 8K.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was or not, but you know, you talk about those guys that consistently can perform at the very, very top of ladder. And I remember when Egor joined the league, he said, ladder's too easy, got to go to CRL. And then he had his debut at World Finals. So a little bit of trash talk, but he totally backed it up.
So both lanes now in pressure, have to defend the Graveyard left-hand side, but a Brawler Inferno Dragon on the right-hand side. Lince in a little bit of trouble here as we get into the final 30 seconds of regulation.
And a really nice bar barrel there, but that Brawler's on tower, as is the Inferno Dragon. Great amount of damage on the right-hand side, and now Egor can pick and choose where he wants to land his blows.
And this Goblin Brawler has been doing a fairly good job of acting as a little mini tank throughout the game. Good timing from Egor on when he chooses to cycle those Brawlers and then cycle cards behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about the Brawler is with that boost in damage, it becomes a card you just cannot ignore. You can't eat the damage, even if it's on your healthier tower side. He can add up so much DPS so quickly that demands a response.
A very aggressive Graveyard push out of Lince, but plenty of elixir to handle it from Egor. Skeletons to worry about the Knight, but a poison again on this Musketeer. Yeah. This is a big chunk of the right-hand side, Andrew.
Yeah, that's a huge poison. You get the Barb, you get the Musketeer off the board, and look at that Dark Prince, very, very low in health, not going to demand a response other than Skeletons. You know, it will get that charge in because it had just enough health, but a great poison in from Egor, and a massive lead for Team Liquid.
Final minute 15. Musketeer, Baby Dragon trying to set the line high. Skellies to help out. No tank across for the Graveyard. Again, the poison on the Musketeer.
Yeah.
That's been the name of the game for Egor the entire way through. But 2 Baby Dragons going the opposite direction for Lince.
Yeah, those poisons really getting a ton of value. You talk about the Musketeer, it gets the Barb every single time as well. That's a positive trade and damage on the tower. So Lince now making a case for himself, though.
But not enough elixir for the Graveyard, Andrew. Pressure. Question is, can he get the pressure actually on tower? So far, decent defense, although that Musketeer going to town on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, Lince recognizing he's got the beefier deck. If Egor can't get the cards he needs back around in the Knight and the Goblin Cage, Lince taking advantage, but Egor going to close things out.
Will the last skeleton get on tower? It hasn't yet. 53 HP. Poison ticking away. Graveyard trying to steal it back. Who's going to win the foot race here? 29 HP. Can this Graveyard get there?
Egor gets it! Oh my gosh, and he throws out the thanks with 20. Is the moment. Egor looking to close things out against Dignitas. Lince trying to stay alive.
And you gotta wonder if how Lince is feeling right now after that one too, knowing that really in that final moment he probably it was a roll of the dice, and he probably should have or could have taken that one in the final seconds. Got to be feeling real frustrated. So how well has he regrouped for this final game? Potential final game.
Yeah, you know, we'd gotten a DM on Twitter about someone asking what min-maxing was and what RNG was. We talked about min-maxing before, but RNG is just a term used for random number generator, and that's kind of the way Graveyard works, right? You cast a spell and you hope for the best.
Yeah, Graveyard used to be much more random in its distribution of skeletons. That distribution was made less random. It was made a little bit more clear. I want to say about 18 months to 2 years ago.
Yep.
They reduced the amount of randomness in the spawning of the skeletons, but there still is just the slightest bit of randomness in how those skeletons come out. It's not precisely predictable, and that little bit of unpredictability leads to things like what you just saw.
Yeah, where you're just like, just get on the tower, man. You're right there.
So 3M for Egor, and a very aggressive opening for 3M for Egor as well.
Yeah, and he's going to cycle it again here. He's going to keep getting those fireballs out if the elixir's in hand from Lince. And there it is.
And Lince running triple spell, so going to be able to do that to two of those Musketeers pretty consistently.
And Royal Hogs come out now from Egor. Fireball out, cycle, and a miner comes in. That miner is not going to be enough.
Log and Skellies, though, are helping out a decent amount, so could have been a whole lot worse on the left-hand side, but as we go into double elixir, it is Lince with a slight lead, setting up for the right-hand lane push.
Yeah, and this feels like the moment where Lince puts down the tank in front and starts to go to town. Maybe high here to pull. Yep.
So lets the Night Witch go do her thing on that side, and
a really nice zap fireball. Very heads up, very quick response there from Lince to take those three Musketeers off the board, and you're still getting a +3
yeah,
trade.
but with the at the sacrifice of the King Tower activation, Andrew, which you know if you're trying to get minor chip out of this, which maybe he's deciding the miner's going to primarily be defensive and that the Giant's tanky enough to do its damage with the King Tower activation, but you know, that King Tower activation definitely not what you love to have in that situation.
Yeah, definitely not what you love to happen. I think the idea there for Lince is he's thinking, I can still protect my miner if the Giant's on the tower, but the problem is right now is he's having a lot of trouble getting on offense with these relentless assaults from Egor.
Down to 18:26 on the left-hand side. Egor with the lead with 1:50 left, and Lince setting up Giant into his lower tower.
Yeah, and that feels like the exact correct move for Lince to do. He was at 10 elixir. No reason to cycle that miner into the tower. Get the Giant back, see if you can build a push now that you have a bit of an advantage.
Haas wants to save that big spell for the big moment.
Yep. And a second Giant comes down, so a very, very nice sequence here put together by Lince.
And now does get the Fireball Zap out, spending a lot to try to make this push work out. The question is, can that happen? That's a good placement on the miner to pull the Bandit and the Hunter, but not much damage out of all that.
No, and a really, really nice high Royal Ghost to clean that stuff up. You get an Ice Golem up front, Royal Hogs behind, and this is a big push by Lince. I mean, excuse me, a big push for Lince to deal with.
And that Bandit does dash on top of it, so here we go. Final minute, triple elixir. Egor, 3M Royal Hogs putting the pressure on, has moved away mostly from the three Musketeers at this stage, and now just playing Royal Hog Cycle primarily. The question is, can he stay ahead long enough? And there we go. Three Musketeers in the back, two to the left, one to the right.
Yeah, and this is a tough thing for Lince to fireball. You know, he wants to get more value out of these fireballs than just those two Musketeers, so he's going to go for it, though. But a lot's going to get dropped at the river, and he has so much splash damage. And by he, I'm talking about Egor. You talk about the Royal Ghost, and of course, that Hunter in the back with the Royal Delivery.
Two Night Witches trying to find some way for those bats to fly on through, but like you said, too much splash damage. Ewiz and Skelly's trying to stop more in from coming. And now you go three Musketeers all going that same direction, so that's an easy 6 for 9 right there for Lince, but can he put enough damage on? Miner goes to the inside, nice pickup by the Bandit, fireball in.
Ooh, I don't know about that fireball.
Oh my word!
10-29, Egor just loses the game. The fireball landed in time. Game and lose it for all of Dignitas. However, Egor, if he loses this, yes, they'll go on to King of the Hill, but Liquid is out of playoff contention.
Best of one for playoffs. Let's see what you got. Could they be going the same direction again, Andy?
See, Night Witch is out with the Miner. It feels very, very likely for Lince, and now you see the Bandit and the Royal Ghost from Egor. Maybe we see a rematch of Game 2.
Run it back. Let's go.
I mean, when you lose by 22 HP, that's literally one interaction that didn't go your way. So both of these guys thinking, look, it went well in Game 2, let's run it back. I can capitalize this time.
Log takes the Heal Spirit off. Skellies will help with that defense.
Zap as well
and again,
on defense.
The big thing to watch out for here is, like we just saw at the end of that last game, the Egor doesn't have a way to make direct damage on tower.
Yep.
So he needs to get enough of an advantage early. He's not going to win that spell cycle fight at the end.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what Egor does with his 3 Musketeers in this game. Do we see him cycle them in the back more often so that one can get across the river, and then that one you support with the Royal Hogs, or will we see things like this, where he plays them higher?
Well, he wants to keep that spell damage off tower. So doing something like that here, and of course last time that before King Tower baited out a King Tower activation, which might have played a role in some of those final moments as well.
I mean, left-hand side doesn't do a lot of defense there, and both the Musketeers connect, and now Egor goes back on offense with the Heal Spirit plus the Night Witch. No log and cycle, so Heal Spirit connects, and this is most likely going to be close to tower down.
That's an insane amount of damage on the left-hand side, 150. And Lince, needs to wake up, driving asleep at the wheel at the moment.
Yeah, so he goes back on offense here. Night Witch going to get kited away, and a high Hunter. Miner goes on top of the Hunter, but it goes to the front of the Hunter. Oh no, excuse me, the side. Miner stays perfectly healthy. Very well played.
And there you go, Hunter off the board. So this is our picture with 48 seconds left in regulation. That left-hand side tower in trouble, but no big spell, no spell at all to create direct damage for Egor, so he has to break on through.
Yeah.
Lince with dual lane pressure, but way behind.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, we've seen Lince battle back in both of the games that we've seen so far in this set, but a lot of uphill battles coming his way in this next 23 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to keep damage off tower. Of course, he has the pieces to do it.
So he cycles the Night Witch left, knowing that he needs as much as he can to clog up that lane.
You might even see him ignore this Royal Ghost on the right-hand side for a minute, Andrew.
Totally can.
And just try to double down on the left.
Yeah, maybe Skelly's behind to mitigate some damage. No, he goes all out on the left-hand side. Miner now on the tower. Egor in trouble, bats up high.
Ewiz comes down. Is there another spell to stop these piggies? The log just barely holds on. Lince, very low. Bandits about to dash a tower. Miner picks up Royal Ghost, trying to get on tower as well. Oh my word, can he stop the Hunter?
He gets the skeletons
he
down, but not enough.
Egor does it.
Team Liquid go into playoffs. Lince just trying everything he could, but